Hey everybody, welcome to Money and Change right here on the Trim Radio Network. And guess what? It's Sunday and it's 7 o'clock. So before we get going with the show, we have a disclaimer we always have to read. The information contained in this presented material is from the posting of news agencies on the internet and are not necessarily the views or opinions of the owners of this program. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, financial, or investment advice. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. We are not responsible for and expressly disclaim all liability for damages of any kind arising out of use, reference to, or reliance on any information contained in this broadcast. So now that the legal jargon is done, we can get on with the show. Wow, I hope you guys had a good week, and I hope you survived all the storms. I know here in Ohio we've had some high winds, and the other day we had some recordings of high winds up to 75 miles an hour, and we had some rain and everything else going on. And so that was something we had to put up with. Well, anyhow, guys, we need to get going with the show because I have a lot of material. I mean, a lot of material to cover. So here we go. If you take a look at our Trim Radio Network page, you can see all of our different shows. You can see Adventures Wait Around the Bend on Spotify, Ranched Up with Tigger and Beck. Of course, that's YouTube and Spotify. Life Walk with Christ God with Michael Bejas, Rumble, and YouTube and Spotify. Money and Change every Sunday night live, unless I'm in a concert season, and that won't be for probably about another 2 months. But anyhow, we're Rumble, YouTube, and Spotify. We've got Offsides with College Football Top 25. We've got My World every Wednesday night live at 8 p.m. We can talk about anything we want to talk about there. Well, almost everything. But anyhow, we can talk about generally everything. And we're on Rumble and YouTube and Spotify. We've got the Positude podcast. We've got the Rascalas Red Pill Reality Show. And I know, I always ask them, gee, you only give me the red pill or the blue pill choice, and I want the green pill. Who knows? Maybe he'll give me the yellow pill. I don't know. But anyhow, check his show out. It's a good one. It's a 2-hour show, too. And it's a good one. I've been on that show a couple of times, and we have a good time. Anyhow, we also have Victoria Smith's Natural Marketer podcast. You have to check her out. She's on Rumble and YouTube and Spotify. So you want to check her programs out. Okay. Very informative. And if you need marketing advice, check her out. Okay. Wow. What else is going on here? Oh, yeah. You can partner with the Trim Radio Network by hosting a show or advertising with Trim. And that's very easy to do. Just contact us. And I'll tell you how to contact us here in just a minute. Now, if you want to go to our page, you want to watch our shows live, there's the button for that. And you can also get the past shows, the archive shows also. And you can advertise with Trim, and that helps support everything. And you can donate, or you can shop the merch, as Michael Bejas says. That's right, shop the merch. What do we have for merch today? There it is. Take It All 15, Take Point 22, red, blue color morphing mug. We've got the Red Pill Reality Show, New Blend hooded sweatshirt. We've got the Trim Radio Network ceramic mug. We've got the Trim Radio tumbler. We've got the Cut the Bull color morphing mug. We've got, gee whiz, a rectangular photo ring. We've got the clock. We've got air color morphing mug. The on-air morphing mug. We've got advertised airtime. Here's my favorite, the Trim Radio Network 22-ounce vacuum insulated bottle. And I'll tell you what, it's a good deal. You know what? When we get donations to the station and people buy merchandise, the money that we get from that goes directly into buying airtime because airtime is expensive. And so we have to pay for that. And that's the only way we get money in. If you buy the merchandise or somebody donates some money, that's it. And if you want to pay to advertise, that's fine. Just contact us. And this is how you contact us. Over here, you'll see a little blue bubble. And if you click on that, something will pop up that says, "Hi there. Thanks for visiting Trim Radio Network. How can I help you today?" Well, click on that button and you put your name in, your phone number. Remember to put the area code there. Also, put your message in and put your email address and click the send button, and somebody will be right with you. Okay. That's all you have to do. Simple. And if you want to contact us about some of our shows, doing your own show, whatever, contact us by hitting that blue button. Wow, what else is going on? Well, we do have some stuff, but something's coming up, and I think it's tomorrow. So I think we need to show this video because if we don't show it right off the bat, I could be in trouble. Let's see what we've got. Here we go. And guess what? That happens to be St. Patty's Day is tomorrow. St. Patty's Day. And so we have that going on. So we got to prepare for that. Well, anyhow, let's take a look at our webpage that we've got, actually Facebook page. I got to show that because I've got extra stuff on there you have to see. And so let's get to that. Well, here we go. Here we are on Facebook. Money and Change, financially prepped. You can join it. It's very easy to do. And we have a lot of people that follow us. It's a public site. It's always visible. And you can join us live for Money and Change on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Now, what I did, I posted some stuff today, and you have to click on the comment section to see it. And what we have here in the comment section, 11 items FEMA wants you to keep in your home. Well, they're warning you too. You better keep it. Also, tornado and storm emergency kit. There's a video for that. And we have the weather emergency supplies kit. And we go into other things. Also, the 4% rule creator reveals how new safe retirement withdrawal rate can be. IRS warns taxpayers to carefully choose your tax preparer. And what if I can't pay my taxes? 5 ways to manage your bill. Just like I said, you go back up and you click on the comment, and those will be posted underneath. And I post frequently, especially during tax season. We've also got other people in there, Colby Mack. Okay, and alert, this is at the Church Emergency GMRS Radio Comms video, and that's David Gilmore does that one. And we're entering the tornado season, and we're entering into bad weather. And if you haven't noticed it, the last few days we've had some nasty stuff come in, especially to Ohio, but in other states too. And we're looking at some possible flooding due to all the rain that we've had the last couple of days. And some locations have had trees down, roofs blown off, and so forth. What has to happen is you need an emergency radio. And I'll tell you what, right here, the GMRS radio with a good antenna, and you can get out to people in an emergency or your family or friends. $35 for a license from the FCC. There's no test involved. All you have to do is just send them the money, and they will grant you a license. It's good for the whole family, and it's good for 10 years. Every 10 years, you need to renew it. These radios are great. When the power goes down, if you don't have supplemental power, hey, you can contact your relatives in town or in close proximity to your city. With this radio, and I've done it several times this past week. I have talked to people in Connersville, Indiana, which is about 54 miles from here. And I talked to a repeater in Dayton, Ohio, which is about 35 miles away. And that gets me out to up to 90 miles away. And I get to talk to different people. This is an Ocean 935G Plus, and it's WOUXUN, and they make very good radios. It's not those bubble wraps that you get at Wally World, okay? Walmart. We call it Wally World around here. This has an Agoya 771G antenna, and it is a good one. It is a very good one. And so you combine the two, and you get very good range out of these things. And I'm hooked into different repeaters in the area, and it's a good thing. So check them out in an emergency. There's the video on the screen, and you can see that. Watch it. It tells you how they set things up. Well, what else is going on? Well, let's see here. A big spiel about the University of Findlay, located in Findlay, Ohio. It's an NCAA Division II sports school, but primarily it's an educational school. They have a very good educational program there for bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. They have 3 campuses in Findlay, Ohio. The Hazardous Materials Campus, which is one of the few in the country. And they show you how to treat and identify and so forth, all those hazardous materials. Then they have the Equestrian Campus on the other side of town, and they talk about horses and pre-veterinary science and good things like that. Then we have the main campus. The main campus has, in the picture here of Old Main, one of the classroom buildings there. I spent some time in that building when I went to school there, believe it or not. And we did have other buildings on campus. But anyhow, Old Main is the principal campus building for classrooms, and also the administration is in Old Main. And the campus is nice. You would really like it going up there. It's a beautiful campus, and it's just good. Dr. Kathy Fell is the president of the university, and she's done an excellent job. And so you want to check them out. And also, if you want to check out their athletics, and we can do that, we can click on the athletics page here. If it gives it time to get there, things are running slow lately. I don't know about you, but you can take a look at everything going on here: women's golf, men's golf again, softball. Okay, they've had wrestling, lacrosse, tennis, all kinds of things. Okay, so you've got track and field teams sent 17 people to the NCAA Division II tournament. The swim team is very good. I mean, they've got good sports there, and they do give out good scholarships. So you want to check that out. Okay, so all you have to do is just check out the University of Findlay, located in Findlay, Ohio. Well, from there, we go and talk about some of our buddies. My shout outs. A big shout out to the Trim Radio Network. As always, we've talked about the University of Findlay, www.findlay.edu. Rusty Duck's Custom Pens and Blanks. If you need a presentation pen for a student that's going to graduate, or maybe the student wants one for his parents for financing everything. Maybe you have a sorority or a fraternity and they want some pens to go out to different people. Or a business. Check out Phil over at Rusty Duck's Custom Pens and Blanks. Also, I've talked about money and change in my world. We've got Big Family Homestead with Brad and Krista. They're out in the middle of Wisconsin, and it is mud season there. Because after the snow season, then the stuff has to thaw and they have mud. They're good people. I've known them for years, and they do have a very good show. Also, Deep South Homestead or Pecan Grove with Danny and Wanda King, fantastic people. And I showed a link to one of their videos. And matter of fact, if you go to our Facebook page and you scroll down, you will see a link to where Danny was getting a custom knife made. Also, you take a look at Dave Kobler. And then, of course, then we have Patriot Nurse. Oh, yeah, Patriot Nurse. Let's see here. Oh, I want to talk about Max first. That's Colby, and he has the Max, and he does a lot of talking about the economy and things that are going on. He's got a good sized family, too, down in eastern Mississippi. He has a fire down there. And did I say fire? No, he doesn't have a fire. He has a farm. And anyhow, he talks about a lot of different things. You can see some of his videos here. 10 things you should know about the stockpile before, stuff hits the fan, major crises, it's begun, and so forth. And he talks about a lot of different things. Very sensible guy. He does not have really a Mississippi accent, but he's a really good person, very knowledgeable. Okay. Check him out, please. Also, we have the Patriot Nurse, and that's Rachel. And I'll tell you what, she talks about a lot of different things, herbal preparedness. She's got courses on that. She's got online videos about different things. Um, you know, she was a registered nurse and a master herbalist, and she's very knowledgeable. She's very, very good. She's located down in Tennessee. And I'll tell you what, she has some really interesting YouTube videos. You have to check her out, please. Also, if you want to buy some of her stuff, that's fine. I don't get a kickback for it. When I tell you that I have certain friends on YouTube or other places, hey, guess what? I'm just doing it out of the kindness of my heart. I don't expect any money at all. None. I don't want to be paid. So anyhow, check her out. We've got Prepper Nurse One with Ed Carswell still building his little compound down in West Virginia. Prepper Princess with Amber Stork. You want to learn how to save money and budget and everything? Check her out. She's on YouTube. Prepper Princess with Amber Stork. We've also got Dave Gilmore, and I've already talked about the GMRS radios, and they are good to have, especially in a storm situation. Okay, you can communicate with those things. I've done it. I like to get on there because there's certain people I get to talk with. And one gentleman is down in Wilmington, Ohio, and we have fun. I've talked with him for probably about the last 6 or 7 months, and we have fun. And then the new person from Connersville, Indiana, he's going to try to get somebody from Greencastle, Indiana, to get to the Dayton repeater, and then we can start having a good time there. Wow, we got to talk about tornadoes. There's been some bad tornadoes, and I think you need to listen to this one. So let me get this back to the beginning here and listen to this.
Their impact alert, and this is for Friday night after 6 p.m. Through the overnight hours, we're watching storms that could develop. Some of these could produce hail, wind, and tornadoes. And so make sure you know where to go. Make sure you have a plan. I have had so many people email me this week saying, oh no, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. Make a plan. That's what you do right now and put the plan into practice. So let's dissect this. Say you're at home, it's a Friday night, you hear the sirens go off, imminent storms are moving on through. You want to get to your safe place. What is a safe place? Well, I have marked the places that are not safe here with a red and an X. That's where you don't go. That's the garage. That's outside on the deck to see the storms. Say your bedroom on maybe the main level or the upper level. Anywhere upper level, not great. On the main level, hallway. That's a small interior portion room, even a closet. But the best place of all, if you have a basement, that's where you want to go. Now, I know to underground, away from windows. So if you have a bathroom, maybe it has a small window, that's okay. But maybe there's a stairwell, maybe there's a laundry room downstairs. That's where you want to go. If you live in an apartment, the lowest level, that's the lobby, the main floor, or even somewhere underneath. A lot of those places have parking structures underneath. You want to get to the lowest level. And I know you think maybe the lowest level, that doesn't sound great. the whole building comes collapsing down on you. Well, that's not what happens in a tornado. Walls get blown away. The first and top levels will get blown away, not onto the building. And so usually the lower levels are still left standing. So there you go. Now you know what to do. And hopefully you're nice and prepared. If you're going out, maybe one of your restaurants, favorite place to go, give them a call, check in and say, hey, do you guys have a tornado shelter, an evacuation place to go if we do have tornadoes? Because again, it's all about knowing, and awareness is key.
That's right. Now, if you need to find something for more information, you can go to FEMA. Okay, you can take a look at what they have on their page. You can go to weather.gov and they have supply kits and so forth. You can build a kit just by going to their page. And, a list of things. And we've talked about this. And, you need a backpack or storage tub to put your stuff in. Water, at least 2 gallons per person per day. They recommend one. That's not enough to cut the mustard. You have to have at least 2, if not 3 gallons per person per day. Have non-perishable food, and that's canned foods. Make sure you have a can opener, but that includes canned foods, freeze-dried foods, things like that. Flashlights with extra batteries. Do you have flashlights? Well, I'll tell you what. I go to Amazon and I get all kinds of flashlights. I've got one in the bedroom. I've got actually 2 in the computer room, 1 or 2 in the kitchen. I have some in the garage. Any place where you think you're going to need a flashlight, get one. They're all rechargeable batteries, and that's a good thing. So you've got that flashlight with batteries, first aid supplies. Make sure you have a good first aid kit, not one of those things that gives you 152 different things, but there's not enough to do any major control of bleeding and so forth. You've got tissues, toilet paper, and bags for personal sanitation. What do you do with the bags? Well, you can figure. You can put that bag in a bucket, use that to put things that happen a couple times during a day in there. And you have toilet paper. That's a big thing. Remember, you always need to have toilet paper. And in the event we go into a, let's call it a banking crisis, yeah, I would have plenty of toilet paper. Paper and pen and pencil, yeah, sleeping bag or a warm blanket, wrench or pliers to turn off the utilities, especially the gas. Personal hygiene items, travel size deodorant, cotton swabs, whatever. A whistle to signal for help. GMRS radio would work too. They also have FM radios within the GMRS radio. And you can have emergency reference materials, battery powered radio or crank powered radio, formulas and diapers if you have kids, extra pet food. Have a dust mask. N95 is the one that you want to use. The ones that you tie on, no, the N95 covers your full face is the best thing. Plastic sheeting and duct tape to shelter in place. Do you have a tent? Do you have blue tarps? Those are handy, and they're not that expensive. Rain gear, extra cash, paper towels, fire extinguisher, cards, or something to keep you occupied. And that's just the basics. That's not the whole thing. Okay, you can check that out at weather.gov. Wow. Hey, I was doing some looking, among other things, today, and I was on Zero Hedge, and they were saying that Switzerland in 2025 is the best country to live and work in. And according to Zero Hedge, they were saying that Switzerland ranks first, driven by high earnings potential, career growth, and economic mobility. And it's home to 7 of the world's top 250 universities. And in second place is Singapore's economy has consistently been ranked as the most open in the world. Matter of fact, somebody from my hometown, I just found out, lives in Singapore. So, Joyce, if you're watching, join us often here. We miss you. Anyhow, we go on and we talk about the different countries. And Switzerland was topped with a score of 84. The earning potential, the career advancement, the employment prospects, the premium on education. They're very well educated over there. They're one of the top educated countries in the world. Also, the economic mobility and the high livability. Now, US is third down on the list, but I'll tell you what, Singapore is fantastic from what I've heard, and they have some pretty strict regulations over there, but it's a pretty good place, especially for businesses. So that's an article you can check into. But the 10 or the top migration destinations is Switzerland, Singapore, USA, Australia, Canada, UK, UAE, which is uh, United Arab Emirates, New Zealand, Austria, Italy, Hong Kong, Latvia. I was watching a video today. Some people that I've been following that were Canadian that moved to Russia to set up a farm. And there's plenty of land there. And things were getting a little restrictive in Canada. So they wanted to go to Russia and try that out. And they love it. But anyhow, they decided to take a tour of Georgia, Tbilisi, Georgia. And they were finding out that a lot of people in the country of Georgia actually they know English. And he was going into different shops and he was looking for a pair of shoes because I guess he's got big feet. And he was looking for shoes. And everybody was talking to him in English, which was great because I can't read the spelling on their words on their posters or stuff. It's a different form. It's not Cyrillic. It's something different. I can't read Cyrillic. I mean, I could pick out a few things here and there, but not much. And a lot of places have English titles. It's kind of interesting. And that's Countryside Acres. I've talked about them before. I follow them just to see what's going on. And I take a look at a lot of different countries and what's going on. But anyhow, Switzerland, yeah, I've had people that go there and they love it. Wow. Corporate America is embracing Doge, the Department of Governmental Efficiency. And what they were saying here is despite conspiracy networks across the corporate media and unhinged lawmakers ranting about the so-called evils of the Department of Governmental Efficiency, corporate America begs to differ. They look for money savings. Businesses don't like to waste money. They like to run as economically lean as they possibly can, putting out a real good product, I'll put it that way, a real good brand product. And that's what corporate America does. What's going to happen is Doge is actually going to teach the government how to economize. You don't have to have a lot of people sitting around doing nothing or just pushing papers when you could do different techniques to run your business more efficiently and get things done. So I think Doge is going to work out in the long run. And USPS agrees to work with Doge, plans to cut 10,000 workers. And Cantabella Roberts from Epic Times brings that out about the post office. And she said the U.S. Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, told Congress on Thursday that he has signed an agreement with the Department of Governmental Efficiency, better known as Doge, and the General Services Administration, or GSA, to work with the U.S. Postal Service to economize. They've been losing money for a long time. Why are they losing money? Well, hopefully Doge can get in there and say, well, this is why you're losing money. And maybe they can break even. If not, who knows? They might have to privatize it. I don't know. But you get your mail in 3 days, and some mail you don't want to get because it's all junk mail. It's advertising. It makes money for the post office, but it also clutters up our mailboxes. So anyhow, what are the 10,000 workers going to do? They could be working for UPS or FedEx or other companies. But post office reported $9.5 billion net loss for fiscal 2024, and it's up from $6 billion a year prior to that. So something's wrong, and hopefully Doge can help them out. Speaking of something wrong, there was an article, I want to put this up here. Everybody's asking, is there really gold in Fort Knox? And finally, Trump says to Musk, why don't you go check it out? Why don't you videotape everything? Well, I guess tomorrow is the day. And so I guess Musk has been granted permission to go in and audit everything. Not just walking by a room saying, well, here's gold. They want to count the gold. They want to sample the gold to make sure it's really gold. Now, a long time ago, I read somewhere where somebody pulled a fast one. They put tungsten in the middle of a gold bar. In other words, when they repoured the gold, they put tungsten in, and it's the same weight as gold. And that gold got shipped to someplace else, and they didn't know it. And they thought it was all gold, and it wasn't. So then they went to trade it to another country, and they took that bar and assayed the bar, drilled a hole down through the center, found out that it wasn't all gold. There was tungsten in there, so they x-rayed it. Interesting thing, Well, anyhow, here's the video that I've got on Fort Knox. Check this out.
To give you context on what the influence of Fort Knox is, they have 56% of all the gold in US at Fort Knox. The gold compared to the world gold reserve, it's roughly at 12.9%. That's 12.9%, meaning 147 million ounces out of 1.14 billion ounces. And of all the gold ever mined, it's 2.15% at Fort Knox. And the problem why some people are saying, well, what's wrong with auditing it now? Let Trump and Musk go in there, see what's in there. Because when you think number of physical audits, actual physical audits, that, oh, you guys aren't, okay, that's it. No, let me see it. No, you can't touch it. I want to touch gold. If you held a bar of gold, a kilo of gold, it feels like a dumbbell. You drop it, it can break this table, right? There's something about holding the gold. The last full detailed audit with physical verification of all gold was done in 1953 under Eisenhower, when only 5% was tested. Subsequent audits from 74 to 86 covered 90% over time, but these relied heavily on sealed compartments and spot checks, not a comprehensive bar by bar count. Since 1986, annual audits check seals, not contents, meaning if Trump and Musk are actually going to be doing this and taking time away from their busy schedule to go there, they got to get the approval to bring a couple auditors who are experts in the gold space to go in there and say, this ain't gold, this is gold. There's ways of doing that, but that's the true way to say the gold is there, not just going looking and moving and boom, that's it. It'll be the fourth time that this has ever happened.
Yeah, fourth time. Hopefully they know what's there. And there was an article here, Doug Casey on Fort Knox and government secrecy and the true role of gold. We're not on the gold standard. We were on that up until Richard Nixon decided to take us off the gold standard and put us on fiat currency, which is just paper money. It's just paper. It's not backed by silver. It's not really backed by gold. Well, it is, but it isn't, if you know what I mean. And, Doug Casey was saying, for decades, mainstream physical commentators have dismissed gold as barbarous relic, and Federal Reserve officials and policymakers routinely downplay its importance. insisting that fiat currency and central banking make gold obsolete. It's just paper. You print more paper, and the value of the dollar or any other currency goes down the more of the paper that's in circulation. That's why we have inflation, because the dollar's not worth much. Now, if we start auditing our gold and we find out that, oh, we've got plenty of gold, then we know the currency is solidly backed for the most part. Okay, there's something there. However, what would happen if they went to the vaults tomorrow and they got in and they found only a few bars of gold? And all this time they said, well, you have plenty of gold in the vaults. And there isn't. What happened to the gold? 52% of the gold in the United States is supposed to be there. I've been by there before. It's at Fort Knox, and it sits out in a grassy field, and it's not a very big building. But the reason why they put it there historically is if somebody tried to break into Fort Knox, they would have the military there very quickly. I mean, a lot of military. So it's a pretty safe place. And, when you drive by, you think, oh, it's supposed to be this big building. Well, no, it really isn't. A lot of it is underground. But then, of course, it's surrounded by Fort Knox. And they had, last time I was there, I went to the Armor Museum for Patton. And we got to see his displays and so forth and see different types of armored vehicles and stuff. And we would drive right by the gold depository. And if you watched the movie Goldfinger, I don't think that they did the movie set at Fort Knox. They made it look like Fort Knox because I don't think anybody gets into Fort Knox unless there's a very good approval. I mean, the people there carry guns and, machine guns and all that kind of stuff. And if somebody goes to break in, they can flood the tunnel so you can't get in there. And if you're in there, you're not really going to get out. Well, anyhow, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Doug Casey is saying that governments hate gold because it's a discipline on the amount of currency they can create. Well, you can't create money out of thin air like fiat currency. You just print more, okay, and the value of your currency goes down. When has the dollar really been a dollar? It hasn't. In some cases, it's been worth 42 cents. In some cases, people will say, no, it's only worth 2 cents. Then why do we call it a dollar? Fluctuation on the dollar goes up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. And it varies on the hour of the day of the week. Now, I think recently somebody said gold is going for $3,000 an ounce. It could go even higher than that. Silver was originally, I think, $31 an ounce from some trading places. Yeah, 31 bucks an ounce. Silver years ago used to be $15 an ounce. Now it's 30. Gold years ago used to be $35 an ounce. And that was back when FDR confiscated all the gold and raised the gold price to $35 an ounce. But at least with gold, you can hold it in your hand. You can spend it. You can barter with it. You can't do that with cryptocurrency. A friend of mine said, hey, get involved in cryptocurrency. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. You can't go wrong. And I'm thinking, yeah, Bitcoin. What happened to Bitcoin? Mount Gox. And all of a sudden, everybody had money into Mount Gox in Bitcoin, and somebody ran away with everything at Mount Gox. People lost billions, because it's just ones and zeros. And you have an electronic wallet that you store stuff in. But what happens if it gets hacked? You're broke. You can't trace where it went. But with gold and silver, you can hold it in your hand. You can count it. It's physical. And that's a good thing. And in times of calamity like we have now, people put their money in gold and silver as a hedge against calamity. It retains its value, maybe even goes up in value. Sometimes it will skyrocket in value when the dollar is worth practically nothing. Gold's going to be worth, who knows, $4, $5, $6, $7, $10,000 an ounce. Who knows? But you can hold it in your hand. Okay, you just have to store it wisely, or nobody gets a hold of it. Well, we've got the U.S. debt clock. I always bring up the debt clock because, gee whiz, we have a problem with the debt clock. Now I blew this up a little bit. I got to reduce that just a little bit more. There we go. Um, we're 36 trillion 604 billion 930 million and climbing in debt. That's $107.77. Or no, it's 100. Boy, my mind is not working today. It's $107,077 per citizen. I don't know about you. I just don't go to the bank and pull out $107,000 and well, anyhow, I don't have that much money. Who does? Oh, my credit card's good. Yeah, right. And then you got to pay the credit card. So where are you going to get the money? The debt per taxpayer is at $323,048. Something's wrong there. Okay, we've overspent. That's why we're in hock. We're in debt. Now, Doge right now is looking at $208,603,000,000 in possible savings. That's about $1,857 per taxpayer. Wouldn't you like to have that $1,857? I could use it just to pay my taxes. Well, anyhow, at least it would help. Oh, and speaking of taxes, what happens if Trump gets things passed to where we don't have any income tax anymore? It's all based on excise taxes from other countries, like it was years ago before income tax was invented. Oh, and where did our income tax money go that we pay in? They're finding a lot of discrepancies there. Oh, we're sending aid to other countries. Well, what happens to the money if we audit what went to the other countries and only half of it went there? Where did the other half go? Or where did the other quarter go? Or we're missing $10 million out of 50 million or whatever. Who got paid off? That is a question that I have. Check it out on usdebtclock.org. They're supposedly real-time numbers, and they have a lot of different things there that you can take a look at. And if you wanted to take a look at currency and credit derivatives, they have that there. You can take a look at precious metal reserves, and you can go ahead and click on that. Boom, there we are. And wealth debt-free, non-interest bearing money issued by the Treasury. That information's there. Oh, what else? There is a spot for gold and silver, and the rates there are a lot different than what the companies like APMEX, Silver.com, and others have. Okay. Well, what else is going on? Oh, yeah. Speaking of taxes, I got to bring this up. IRS warns taxpayers to carefully choose their tax preparer. What to know? And Blake Stimac did that for CNET. And I'll tell you what, you have to know your tax preparer. Some people say, well, I can do it myself. And they do it. And then they find out that the IRS says, greetings from the IRS. We want to audit the following things. we need copies of X, Y, and Z from 7 years ago. They can only go back 7. But people are looking at that and they're going, well, I prepared it myself. I followed their directions. Have you seen the tax directions? I mean, what do? I play it safe. I give it to an accountant. I give them all the paperwork and say, there, do it, make sure it's according to the rules, and let me know how much I owe. I'll go ahead and pay it, and that's it. And done with it. And if they come back on me, I go back on the accountant. So they're warning, the IRS is warning taxpayers to choose their tax preparer. Okay. And they show you what to know. And I do believe I have that on the Money and Change Facebook page. Remember, you have to go to comment on today's show, and everything's listed down below. And so anyhow, he's saying that he chatted with Jason Bowman, IRS enrolled agent and tax expert, to get some additional context as to why it's important to choose your tax preparer wisely. The tax returns basically contain every piece of information necessary to commit identity theft and various types of fraud. And the IRS has already sent out over $124 billion in refunds so far. And maybe you're still getting things in order to do your 2024 taxes. Make sure you get a good preparer. Sometimes you can do it online with the IRS, but make sure your numbers are correct that you put in there. Watch out for red flags for the tax preparer, ghost preparers. They require payment in cash only and not provide a receipt. Direct refunds in their bank account rather than the taxpayer's account. Invent income to erroneously qualify their clients for tax credits or claim fake deductions to get higher refunds. And they also lack a valid PTIN. Okay, tax preparer identification number. Things you got to watch out for, guys. Don't say I didn't warn you. Also, what if I can't pay my taxes? There are 5 ways to manage your bill. Now, I put this on our Facebook page. So you can click on that and follow that one. But just tax tips. If you e-file your return with direct deposit, you can expect to receive your refund in 8 to 15 days. Your bank may take more days to process your refund, and refunds with earned income credits or additional child tax credits won't be issued before mid-February. You can check the status of your refund by contacting the IRS or using the Where's My Refund tool. I was looking at taxes in some cases. I believe I've heard in Russia they charge 13%, and I saw it was 15%. And I think I talked about that last week. So if you look at last week's show in the archives, you can see what the different tax rates are in the different countries. File your return by the deadline. That's number 1. Pay what you can. Even if you can't afford your full bill, you should pay as much as you can by the deadline. Doing so will minimize the amount you'll be owed in penalties and interest. Make a budget. You always have to make a budget. And you can figure that tax out and budget it through the year. Decide how to tackle the bill. You have several options to pay off your tax debt, and they're going to have it in the next section. We won't really get into a lot of it. 5 options if you can't pay your tax bill. Okay, ask for a short-term payment extension. Get an installment agreement. If you can't pay your taxes within 180 days, you may need to sign up for a long-term payment plan. But don't miss a payment. A lot of different things. Look for temporarily delaying collections. If you're experiencing a financial hardship, you could ask the IRS to place your account in a currently not collectible status. Request an offer in compromise. Say, I don't have the money. You might be able to get a compromise. You might be able to save a little bit, maybe. Can't guarantee that. Check the article out. It's back on our Facebook page. What else is up? Oh, Social Security. Oh, yeah, everybody's got Social Security anymore. Even illegals have Social Security, from what I have been told, which is illegal because they didn't earn it here. Air's very dry. That's why I have to drink water here. But you take a look at that and you wonder, well, what are you going to get in Social Security? And they're saying the next round of March's Social Security payments are on the way. Yeah, they're always on the way, sometimes late. With 2 payments sent so far and 2 more months to go, if you haven't received your check yet, you don't have much longer to wait. Should be a direct deposit, shouldn't it? Well, thanks to COLA increase, Social Security beneficiaries and people who receive supplemental Social Security income or Social Security disability insurance should have received a pay bump as well as their monthly payment. If you aren't sure when you should expect your check, you got to go to the right place. And this is where it's at. It's also on our Facebook page. And, here's when you'll receive your Social Security check and your SSDI check in March. How your payment date is determined is tricky. They explain that. Our government benefits may not be sent the same day. And if your check is missing, here's the check. Or actually, if it didn't show up, if your check fails to show up when it's supposed to, or not at all, the Social Security Administration suggests waiting for 3 additional mailing days before contacting the Social Security Department. After that, you can call the national toll-free number at 1-800-772-1213. And that's 1-800-772-1213. So you can check that out on our Facebook page on today's page, okay? Then also, the 4% rule creator revealed the new safe retirement withdrawal rate. And I believe I have that on our Facebook page. Remember, I said hit comment and all this will show up. So you want to really check that out. So a lot of things that we have are on our Facebook page. And so you really want to check that out. I mean, I do a lot of different postings. And this show will be in Rumble, and I will post it. As soon as it appears in Rumble, I will put it on Facebook. And so you'll be able to have the show. Well, that's about all I've got, guys, except for one tip. And remember, I've always told you, pay down your debt, put some money aside, buy some long-term food, canned goods, freeze-dried, MREs, whatever. Make sure you have at least 3 gallons of water per person per day. The feds say 1 gallon. They're wrong. It's going to be at least 3 gallons of water per day. Be able to purify and store water. Be able to take rainwater and run it through a Sawyer purifier or a Berkey filter system and have pure water come out on the other side. I've got a Berkey system. The water that I drink all goes through the Berkey system. It takes out taste of chemicals that we have in the water locally. And they say, well, there's no taste. There is a taste. And I've been tasting it since they opened up the new water plant. Sodium hyperchloride, I believe, is what I'm basically tasting, and not chlorine. Well, anyhow, that's basically what we've got, guys. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot a few things. pay down your debt, put some money aside, buy long-term food, be able to purify water and store it. Make sure you have a good first aid kit. Make sure you have plenty of batteries, rechargeable batteries, whatever, small solar panels, generators if you're lucky enough to have a generator, battery storage units, things to have, because you have to run your freezers and your refrigerators, right? You have to be able to recharge your phone. You have to be able to recharge your GMRS radios. If you're lucky to have a Unity 100 radio, that has to be recharged quite a bit. But a lot of things you have to consider here. Make sure you have the blue tarps, first aid kits, clothing for the season. Make sure you have a sleeping bag or a bivy kit. Okay, you can take that and look that one up at the bivy, B-I-V-Y. Okay, look that one up. You can go to Emergency Essentials and buy food. You can get MREs, meals ready to eat. You can get those. You can get canned goods. You can go to Sam's Club, Costco. I mean, they have stuff like that, okay? But it's time to prepare. Things are going to get tough. Everything I've been listening to for the past 6 months, they're saying we're going to have a bank crisis. So you have to put some money aside to pay your bills for at least 3 months, if not 6. Everybody says, well, we don't have an emergency account because we don't make that much money. Well, every time you get paid, take $5, $10, $20 and put it aside. And you build that up to have an emergency fund. What happens if your car breaks down? You need to get it fixed. Some people say, well, I'm going to put it on my credit card. Yeah, well, you're still going to have to pay it off. Well, I'll pay it off over time. Yeah, how much interest? 19%? That's not a good deal. So live frugally, live beneath your means. You don't have to have Netflix. You don't need to go out and eat every night. You can cook in, save some money. Live frugally. And that's what Amber Stork does. And she will tell you that. Well, anyhow, guys, with that, remember it's going to be something like Blarney Day? Or is it St. Patty's Day? Anyhow, that's coming up. If you go out and drink responsibly, okay? And don't drive if you're doing that. Make sure you have a designated driver. And with that, guys, that's all I've got for this week's show. I hope you have a good week, and we will talk to you later. See ya.